So this morning I got up at 6:30, drank coffee, and listened to the news. I think I'm turning into an old person. So another week has gone by here in Australia, and this last week was a big week. Lots of stuff happened. I'm actually going to go backwards a little bit because the bigger stuff happened at the beginning of the week. So yesterday was Sunday. It was probably our lightest day of the week. We spent most of the day at the house preparing for ministry and whatnot. Got to have some team time in the evening. So yeah, that was Sunday. The day before that, we actually had this really big, this would have been Saturday. We had this really big Catholic festival called Rise. And this is something that the Archdiocese has been trying to, I think, been putting together for the last 5 to 8 months or something like that. This is only the second year they've done that. So yeah, we went and helped out with that. It was just this really big, awesome time. There were a bunch of booths and tents set up with different events at different parishes and organizations and whatnot. Net Ministries had one as too, and there were workshops. There was praise and worship. There was mass. There was time for adoration and reconciliation. And yeah, it was just a really wonderful night. And it's always really encouraging to just see a big congregation of Catholics, or at least people who are curious about the faith, just to see everyone together in fellowship and exploring life and what it means to live your life for the Lord. So that was really great. So that was Saturday. The day before that, Friday, we spent most of the day setting up for Rise, the event on Saturday. So that was just kind of a typical day. Thursday was also kind of laid back because we were going to be helping getting ready for Rise, but we didn't have a whole lot to do, so we spent most of the day kind of doing ministry prep at the house and whatnot, cleaning the house some, that kind of thing. So then we go back to Wednesday. Now Wednesday and last Saturday were awesome. And I say they were awesome because I discovered my new favorite place in the world, and that would be Cape Schanck. Cape Schanck is this absolutely amazing place about an hour and a half from here where I am, and it's on the coast. It just has amazing, so it's by the sea. There are these giant cliffs. I basically felt like I was back in Ireland, and for those who know me, you guys know that I absolutely love Ireland. So I was in my happy place. I went just hiking around the rocks. We swam in some rock pools. It was just absolutely beautiful. And I actually wanted to read a verse from, where was it? Psalm 139, verse 14, which says, "I praise thee, for thou art fearfully and wonderfully made. Wonderful are thy works. Thou knowest me right well." And I wanted to read that mainly based off of the wonderful are your works, O Lord, because, man, I mean, I am a nature guy, but just getting to be out in God's creation is an amazing, amazing thing. And just to see the cliffs and the water and the waves and just, it's absolutely amazing. And it was great for me, being the country guy that I am and living in the city, just to get out there was really therapeutic and awesome. And I'm probably going to continue to go back throughout the year when I have days off periodically, because it's just, I love it. I felt like I was back in Ireland. So yeah, that was Wednesday. So we went 2 days because last Saturday was our day off. That's the first day we went. And then Wednesday we had a team day, which is kind of like a day off, but not as much. So it's basically like, just for the team to hang out together and build fellowship, build unity and all that, so we can, continue to work well as a team on the in the ministry field. Monday and Tuesday then, no, sorry, I'm going to leave that for last. Sunday night, we went to a youth group, and this was interesting because it was like high schoolers, like years 10, 11s, and 12s. It was then, but then there were also some university students who were there too. So it was kind of a youth group / adult small group melded into one, which might sound like it wouldn't really work, but it actually did. I gave a talk about self-image and Finding Your Identity in Christ, which I think went really well. We had small groups, we had mass. It was really, really a great night. And it was great that it was a great night because that kind of gave me a lot of adrenaline for the next 2 days, which is Monday and Tuesday. Now, Monday and Tuesday was probably the biggest part of the week. We had a 2-day retreat, which I think I mentioned last week. We were doing a lot of preparation for last week. It was a 2-day retreat. It was kind of like our day-long encounter days, our intense 1-day retreats, but this was kind of like an extended 2-day version of that. It was really cool. It was out at this campsite, which is like this big ranch farmland, really beautiful out in the country area. This week with lots of great outdoor stuff. We were at that retreat, and this was a challenging retreat. It was good, but it was challenging. There were 150 students approximately, year 11 students, 11th graders. And man, so I led a small group of about 12 guys, and I'm just going to be honest, it was probably the most challenging small group I've ever led because these students, they just weren't into it. And so there was definitely some frustrations and hardships in that. I won't go into any more detail, but yeah, it was kind of frustrating, but it was also really rewarding. And I want to read one verse from, where was it? Psalm 29, 31:7. Dang it. Hold on, see if I can find it. I was just looking this up. The beauty of nature. No, I just talked about that. Finding goodness. Ooh. Here we go. Psalm 27, 13 and 14 says, I believe that I shall see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. Wait for the Lord, be strong, and let your heart take courage. Ye wait for the Lord. So yeah, as I was saying, this was a more challenging retreat, a challenging group of kids. But at the same time, as I'm continually finding, we really can't do this alone, and we have to rely on the Lord and stuff like this. And I find it ironic that I think last week I brought up that passage from Jonah about, Jonah reached out to this really wicked city, but God still worked through them, still worked through Jonah, and they reacted, and they listened. So, if Jonah can do that, surely we can do the same. I think so we kind of try to talk about the victories throughout the retreat, and a big victory for me was that, even though during the day there were some struggles, some frustrations and whatnot, at the end of the day, there was a time where students were free to go off and leave, or they could stay in this one prayer room to, just have personal reflection and prayer, and they could go to confession if they wanted to. And so I was sitting there at the end of the day, and I was just kind of, sitting there praying for the group, for the retreat, and I was looking around the room. And between all the students who were in line for confession and all the ones who were kind of around the room praying with each other or getting praying with us, there were about 36 students there, which just in the grand scheme of things, I calculated to that's about a fifth of the group of everyone at the retreat. And that was really fulfilling for me in a way, There were definitely a lot of students who just were not into the retreat, ones that I don't know if they got anything out of it, but there were definitely some who evidently got a lot out of it, or at least were longing in some sense, who were searching in some sense, and that was really rewarding, and it was really good. So yeah, it was, as I said, one of the more challenging retreats, but I think our team, did a good job overall. It was a great learning experience, and I think we definitely planted some seeds. So, that's what we're here for. That's what Encounter Mission is. So, overall, it was a really good experience. And as I said, that after this retreat, we got to have a team day, and we got to go to the coast, and it was just beautiful. So, yeah, big week. Lots of stuff happened. Lots of good stuff. A couple of more challenging moments, but overall, really, really rewarding and satisfying. So, I think that is about it. Yeah, I can't think of anything else. This upcoming week is a lighter week. We have a lot of ministry prep. We have some youth groups to go to. Oh, I know something. Later today, our 7th team member is showing up. So we're going to the airport to pick him up. So we'll have a 7th guy. And yeah, so that'll change the dynamics for the better, I think. Just, having more support, more fellowship, all that good stuff. And yeah, and then we'll be doing a lot of prep this week. And at the end of the week and going into next week, we have some other events and retreats. So it'll be good. It'll be really good. God's doing good stuff. So yeah, that's about it. Hope everyone's doing well. I'll be back next week around the same time, hopefully. And God bless y'all. See ya.